Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update in the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this, this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategic or compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video, we're going to be looking at potentially the final push in the MMTLP fiasco. We're also going to be looking at huge news shared by Elon Musk with regard to ticker symbol DELL, so stay tuned for that. So before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the markets. I would like to say in terms of a reminder that the US markets today were closed, but in terms of the UK, we can see here headline from the Reuters that the UK inflation has dropped to the 2% target for the first time since 2021. So potentially good news there for the UK markets and also the European markets. But what we can see here from Goldman Sachs is they are saying basically that they're looking to expect to have potentially 2 Fed rate cuts in the year, looking at potentially September and December. So hopefully that is true. And finally, shout out here to Quiver Quantitative, who've also shared as an important trade. And this is Representative Mike Kelly's wife. So not himself, but his wife. She has just apparently invested $100,000 in Cleveland Cliffs, also known as ticker symbol CLF. She did buy this before, back in 2020. Obviously, it did go up approximately 300% over the month. So this is a stock that we will be keeping an eye on, ticker symbol CLF. What I'd like to share with you is a small snippet from a very important space where we look at potentially FINRA being implicated and also huge news about to come. So let's check this out.
And that is, I don't think, I honestly, I just don't think Congress ever truly wanted to put themselves in the middle of facilitating resolution in this, because it is a complex problem. And by the way, they deserved grace for the time period that we allotted them. But when they're facilitating and disseminating lies, people that have been brought in from an education standpoint since day one, since a particular representative since before the halt ever existed. A same representative that acknowledged receiving acknowledgement from a broker-dealer represented on this list of 10 members that acknowledged that they were aware of an imbalance. That information didn't happen to leak until after these names come out. So that's gatekeeping 101. That's collusion 101. So that awareness is going to be publicized. And my God, the media onslaught that will result from this coming to light. But you can avoid it all by just answering the phone, putting the hearing on the fucking calendar, and give us the justice that all these members, all 65,000 families have been put through hell. So do your job, or we will ensure that you are part of the collateral damage. And make no mistake, you will be part of the collateral damage. You cannot obfuscate to this point. You are screwed. I posted the video earlier, a couple hours ago, I think. I want everybody to take 2 minutes, and I want you to listen to that video. And I want you to pay attention to who's in that video. There are only 2 parties in the video. It's 1 minute and 44 seconds long. And listen to the last 30 seconds of the video. And know that this was December 2023. We're talking 6 months ago. Okay? And then I want you to gather that information in your head and think about what that's in reference to. And think about what we've been done where we're being strung out to run out the clock, to literally run out the clock before something can be done, before the election cycle really takes on legs of its own and focus shifts. We're not doing that. The evidence that we have, we're not doing that. If I have to publicize it and we deleverage it, then I'll publicize it and we deleverage it. But I will ensure, and every single person that I work with will ensure that it is brought to light and there will be significant collateral damage congressionally. Significant. And that goes without saying that FINRA is literally littered all over this. I said the FOIA response for good reason. If you can't read between the lines there, one of the parties is in FOIA response. Another party's in a video that has gone viral regarding this entire process. And oh, by the way, the coincidence of now we're going to pretend that they're processing the corporate action as deficient when they drafted the language. They drafted the language and there's no record of any corporate action being processed deficient. And they drafted the language? Oh, this is so rich. They're lying on top of lying on top of lying. So anyway, the ask, please don't sit in here and talk and react to why Curtis is freaking fired up. Don't do that and sit here and talk about it for hours today. Get off Spaces, put in a call to your representative, and relay that back on a space. It doesn't have to be Savvy Space. It could be a space this afternoon. It could be a space tonight. It doesn't matter. Relay the information. Knowledge is empowerment here. I know that this is going to be clipped and sent, and they're going to be aware that things are about to be made extremely uncomfortable for every single office. And good. We should not be sitting on our hands. I'm not going to sit on my hands. They know this data. I knew it was going to accelerate this week. They're not going to BS and lie and change the narrative. I think there's been a plan in place. They're either going to put a hearing on the calendar, issue subpoenas, or we're going to air it out this week.
So looking at one of the things that Curtis spoke about in terms of the video, shout out here to Seeker Star, who's posted, everybody watch the video, pay attention to the unsolicited statement in the last 30 seconds and pay attention to the two parties. So one of the parties was Gary Gensler, and the other party here we can see is Pete Sessions. So replay it again, but in terms of a quotation, this is a quotation from Pete Sessions, and it states, in working with Mr. Cook's organisation, which is FINRA, I'm trying to move my work as well as their work more to find answers in a way from less investigation and more directly to the problems that people may bring to us. So that's the quotation, and that is dated December the 12th, 2023. So that's quite an important statement to take in, but let's now move on to other news in terms of some of the potential names that Curtis was talking about. Certainly two of them from FINRA. We're looking at Patricia Casimates, and we're also looking at Chris Stone. From TradeStation, we're looking at Nicole Brinkerhoff. So what Meta News have posted is obviously the committee that facilitated the rare U3 halt now includes a broker-dealer that oversold. So we know that about TradeStation, and in terms of these names, they are certainly significant in some of the things that we have been focusing on. But what Curtis has just posted is there are a lot of people having a really bad day. I'm assuming that two of those would be from FINRA, but Curtis is certainly feeling good. But what Paul T has posted is in terms of a reminder of the statement with regard to blue sheets from Pete Sessions, is he stated, we do not take this seriously. We've done a little bit of work in the last couple of days. We're trying to put it together. We're trying to get where we will be there, where there will be a hearing. The hearing would then develop the need to the blue sheets if we need that. So that's what initially one of the statements from Pete. And if we look at a post here from Lillian's, what she stated here is a hearing scares the hell out of the market. It scares the hell out of bad actors, and those that have the power to stop it may well try to stop it. The old saying rings true, action speaks louder than words. We have been waiting for well in excess of 18 months now. It looks like the slow walking to run the clock is aiding and abetting potentially the bad actors. So let's now have a look at another post here from Marcos, and this is certainly interesting because obviously the evidence and the circumstantial information that we're finding is now starting to add up. So this is a post with regard to the Uniform Practice Code Committee. So what I've done is highlighted the two committee members, and remember we have at the bottom the FINRA staff liaison members, Patricia Casimates again, Chris Stones again, but the interesting one here I've also highlighted in red is Kelly Bell from Hilltop Securities. So there is a connection there. And what I will say is that Kelly Bell from, or should we say Hilltop Securities, are also known to contribute to certain members of Congress in terms of donations. So in terms of this committee, what we are seeing here is the committee is considered. This is the committee that considers issues related to the clearance and settlement of OTC securities, and it also looks at corporate actions processing issues. So this is the committee that is potentially the committee that looked at the U3 halt. Very, very important. So what we have just now in terms of breaking news, just shared again from Meta News. This is positive, and what we can see here is the just named Representative Ralph Norman is set to have a meeting with the DTCC in the coming weeks regarding MMTLP. So that's huge news. And what JT has stated, so everybody is now aware that DTCC have confirmed the receipt of the Norman office request on June the 5th. So that was with regard to the letter. So let's have a look at a response from this. And what Jay has stated is we need someone like Curtis to brief Representative Norman in detail, provide documents before the meeting, because unfortunately possible that the DTCC will attempt to lie and obfuscate information, just as FINRA and the SEC have done, or should we say allegedly done. And the question here from JT is now, what if Curtis was part of the team that put together the plan that was delivered to Ralph Norman office on a resolution for through the DTCC? So that's the big question here, and what Curtis has stated here, obviously a cryptic answer, leaky faucets in the MMTLP house. So I am reading this positively, and I think this is possibly good news, and let's see what happens. I finally like to share with you some breaking news that was initially shared in the Discord with regard to tick symbol DELL, and this was news in terms of a quotation from Elon Musk, and what he stated with regard to Dell is, to be precise, Dell is assembling half of the racks that are going into the supercomputer that XAI is building. There was another stock that he also quoted, but we're going to be focusing on tick symbol DELL. So what Mario has posted is again confirmation of this post, and he's also stated here is that Dell is building an AI factory for XAI. So Michael Dell shared a first look of the supercomputers that will power XAI. So great news there potentially for Dell, and what we can see here from bar chart is that Dell Insider Trading Alert, the CEO Michael Dell sold an additional 379 million worth of Dell shares, which makes his total for 2024 approximately $2.1 billion, but that was obviously him taking an advantage of the run-up where Dell did reach an all-time high. But if we have a look at the chart here for Dell, we can see that Dell has just closed above its trend line in terms of the resistance, and potentially looking for a significant move up. So we will be looking at tick symbol DELL. If you would like to get more news and in terms of breaking news with regard to stocks, as well as in our daily stock alerts, and also in our weekly watch list, one of the stocks that we called in the one of the previous videos was tick symbol ARM. So go ahead and check out the previous video on that. And finally, thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.